Welcome to the National Real Estate Post. Just want to remind you guys, November 15th through 17th at St. Pete's Beach, Florida. St. Pete or St. Pete's, I don't know, but the Marketing Animals putting on a big event down there. Always great opportunities and great stuff at Carl's events. Space is limited. If you're in the area or want to fly in, just make sure you click the banner you see on the screen right here over on your right, or you can scroll down right around the comments. You'll see the banner there, or on Facebook. There's a link around here somewhere to register for that upcoming event, November 15th through 17th.
So we already told you this, that the OCC and the FDIC, but now the Fed Board of Governors have all said that you don't have to get an appraisal on certain loans whose values are $400,000 and down. Now that means this rule is signed, sealed, and delivered. Done. But there's a catch.
Big one too. It doesn't apply to properties sold to or insured by FHA, Fannie, Freddie, HUD, or the VA.
Basically everybody you do a deal for right now.
Right.
See, those agencies have rules about appraisals that supersede this rule, meaning all the loans that you do right now still need an appraiser involved. But I had an interesting conversation with a real estate agent last week. Now, here's what she wrote to me.
And we quote, "So, just got off the phone with someone from LRES. They were requesting permission to send out a follow-up appraiser to a listing I have that's in escrow right now. What they told me is that Fannie Mae is doing this so that they can see if they can change the way that they do appraisals and not always require a licensed appraiser to do the appraisal. I know you guys have talked about no appraisals on properties under $400,000, but this guy that I talked to said it's not just $400,000 and under. The house I'm in escrow on right now is $575,000. I told the guy I wasn't going to authorize this re-inspect on this escrow because we're pushing for an early close and I don't want anything to come in between that. And he said that he'd try to catch me on the next one. We'll see.
So check this out. Isn't this a trip?
Yeah.
So LRES is an appraisal management company.
Okay.
Now, she watches our show. She knew to ask specific questions.
Yeah.
And I called her up to speak with her about this. It was Fannie Mae.
Interesting.
They're trying to find ways to get appraisers out of the picture.
Well, it sounds to me like Fannie's trying to find a new way to follow suit, which would get rid of appraisers. What they're looking at doing is having some type of automated valuation model,
An AVM.
and then get someone to go look inside the house who's not licensed per se to make sure that the walls aren't smashed in. Now, why would Fannie do this? I mean, if someone's still got to go into the house, don't we already have those people? Aren't they called appraisers?
Now, think of the implications of getting rid of appraisers.
One, how accurate are Zestimates right now? I mean, that's the most popular and probably most accurate of all the models, right?
And that's basically what they're going to be using, something that looks and feels like a Zestimate. Number two, how do you account for upgrade, with an AVM? See, because an upgrade would be something that's property specific that you can't put into an automated model.
Right. And three, there's going to be winners and there'll be losers. You see, because your AVM will now set market value. If you have automated appraisals, they'll have a degree of failure, a margin of error. The FHFA has published multiple white papers to this very point. And what the FHFA learned is when you have a relatively new cookie cutter subdivision, the AVMs do fairly well. When homes get older and less organized, then we see with all these new subdivisions,
right,
the degree of failure with the AVM model increases. So some will lose because you can't have a scenario where the buyer and seller agree on a price setting the value. Perhaps an appraiser with a high degree of geographical competence can rationalize that sales price where an AVM will fail. So now, will that AVM be the gatekeeper of our collective equity in our country? Will that AVM trump the appraiser?
Well, no. In a case where you have a sale and the AVM comes in low, what's going to happen is that the seller can contest the AVM and they're going to be able to get an appraiser to go out there and supersede that AVM. Now, when that happens, the seller is on the hook for the cost of the AVM and now the cost of the appraisal, which means by getting rid of appraisers to make things more efficient, it's going to cost more money than ever. And because that appraiser won't be called until the AVM is completed, it's now going to take more time.
So last year, the GSEs had to conform to the Modernization Act, and that's why they're doing this. And as we just outlined for you, and this is going to happen, people, their way to modernize the appraisal process via automated valuation models that have a degree of failure that they already know about is going to make that component of the home buying process more expensive and take longer. It's just going to do that.
Totally.
Now, if this sounds crazy to you and can't possibly happen, all you need to do is look at what took place after the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau Bureau was formed. Longer turn times and 3 times the cost to bring a loan to market, a cost that has and will continue to trickle down to the consumer in the form of higher rates and fees.
You know, this is just a case of your federal government working for you under the age-old adage, if it ain't broke, break it.
Ain't that the truth?
Oh my gosh. Hey, listen, this is a really important story and a great conversation piece for lenders and realtors. So hit the Facebook share button down here and start the dialogue with your sphere of influence.
Yeah.
And let us know what you think about this stuff.
That would be great. You guys have a great one. We'll catch you later here at the National Real Estate Post. Adios.
Bye.